Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a pretty major update from Pi Network, one that's opening up the, let's face it, pretty complex world of decentralized finance to its entire community. So, just imagine for a second, what if you could play around with token swaps, dive into liquidity pools, and really get your hands on all the powerful tools of DeFi, but in a completely safe space, a place where you can learn the ropes without any fear of losing real money? Well, that is the exact idea behind Pi Network's latest move. They're creating this safe educational on-ramp for millions of people to finally understand these crypto tools. Okay, let's get right into it. The big news, announced by founder Dr. Chengdao Fan, is that Pi has just rolled out a whole new set of DeFi features on its blockchain. But, and this is the crucial part, it's all happening exclusively on the testnet for now. So what are these new tools exactly? What's actually in this new toolbox they've handed to the community? Let's break down the core features that everyone can now start experimenting with. First up, we've got the Decentralized Exchange, or DEX. The easiest way to think about it is like a marketplace for digital stuff that runs all by itself, without a central company calling the shots. So instead of going through a middleman, users can trade directly with each other. And what's really cool is that these capabilities are built right into the Pi blockchain, which means the community can go out and build their own DEX interfaces. Now, the engine that makes that DEX run is something called an automated market maker, or an AMM. This is really the magic behind the curtain. It's a protocol that uses these pools of tokens, which are supplied by other users, to make trades happen instantly and automatically whenever you want. This whole approach just gets rid of the traditional order books and gatekeepers you'd see in the old financial world. So to put it all together, the Pi testnet now lets you do the entire DeFi workflow. You've got the ability to create new tokens, you can pool them together to provide liquidity, and then you can trade them on decentralized exchanges that are all powered by these automated market makers. It's really a complete toolkit for building out a DeFi ecosystem from the ground up. But you might be asking, why launch all this cool stuff on a testnet? Why not just put it on the mainnet, where all the real value is? Well, that question gets right to the heart of the strategy behind this whole rollout. See, this separation between the testnet and the mainnet creates a super important safety net. On the testnet, everything runs on TestPi, a currency that has absolutely zero real-world value. You can think of it like a giant sandbox. Pioneers can click every button, make every possible trade, and just learn the mechanics of DeFi with zero financial risk. Meanwhile, the mainnet, where the real Pi lives, stays safe and sound until the community is actually ready. So the critical point here is empowerment through education. The goal isn't just to drop some new tech and walk away. It's to give tens of millions of people real, hands-on experience so they can understand both the opportunities and the risks of DeFi before they ever touch a single real Pi coin. It's basically a massive network-wide financial literacy program. And this big focus on education, it leads to an even bigger idea, building a totally different kind of ecosystem. It all comes down to Pi's philosophy on creating new tokens, which is really a cornerstone of this whole update. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You can't have an exchange if there's nothing to exchange. That's why, along with all the DEX and AMM features, Pi has now turned on token creation for developers on the testnet. This really opens the door for builders to start designing the very assets that will power the future Pi economy. But, and this is important, Pi is drawing a very clear line in the sand. This table really shows the contrast between their vision for tokens and the whole hype-driven world of meme coins. Pi is saying that tokens in its ecosystem need to be built on a foundation of real apps and services. They're aiming for long-term utility, not just short-term speculation. The goal is genuine functionality, not just empty hype. And listen, this isn't just a friendly suggestion. While anyone can create a token on the testnet for practice, the rules for getting a token onto the mainnet are going to be strict. Projects will have to prove they have real-world use cases, sustainable models, and sensible plans for how their token supply and distribution will work. Okay, so with these new tools and this clear philosophy in place, a new question comes up. What happens now? How can the community actually start using this stuff to build the future of the Pi ecosystem? Well, for a developer, the path forward is actually pretty clear. They can start by creating a token on the testnet, then distribute it to users to try out. They can test how it behaves in liquidity pools and see how well it integrates with their Pi app. And maybe most importantly, they can get feedback from a massive community of real people to improve their project before it ever goes live on the mainnet. And here's the kicker. developers are not starting from scratch here, not even close. These new DeFi tools plug right into Pi's huge existing infrastructure. We're talking about a KYC solution that makes sure you're dealing with real humans, a global community of tens of millions ready to test things out, and established tools like the Pi Wallet and the Pi Ad Network to help build sustainable businesses. All right, so when we pull all of these different threads together, a really clear picture starts to form. We can now see the long-term vision that's guiding this entire update. What we're really looking at here isn't just a simple tech update. It's a carefully planned blueprint for building a sustainable, utility-driven Web3 economy. By putting education first, by focusing on real-world use cases, and by leaning on its massive community, Pi is trying to build an ecosystem that's designed to last, one based on actual function, not just speculation. The launch of these DeFi tools on the Testnet is a really pivotal moment. The foundational building blocks are now officially in the hands of millions of pioneers and developers. And that leaves us with one really powerful question. With this giant sandbox for innovation now open for business, what will they build next?